Hello everyone, my name is Fangyao Liu and today will be our group speech on the General Motor Company. There are 5 people in our group. They are Jing Zhang, Yu Hanzhou, Dino Wang, and Zhang Pengling. So this is the content of our speech. And about the outline, our speech will focus on the ethical dilemma of the GM, which contains its background, the ethical dilemma, and the analysis of the solution and the recommendations. So the speech will analyze the ethical dilemma faced by General Motors leaders, their impact on the organization, and how to deal with them. At the same time, it provides effective leadership methods and management standards for leaders who encounter similar difficulties in the future. So now I will give a brief introduction about the General Motors Company. About the history, so the GM is an American multinational automobile manufacturing company with manufacturing plants in 8 countries. The GM is one of the earliest large-scale enterprises in the US to implement joint Stokes system and expert group management. The General Motors places special emphasis on quality and the adoption of new technologies. Therefore, General Motors products have always enjoyed a high minds of users. For 100 years, General Motors and its products have touched the lives of millions of people around the world. It has experienced 100 years of innovation and development, from the least promising beginning on the September 16, 1908, to offering Salon's famous different wallet, different goals, different model strategy. From acquisition to the world famous automobile brands such as Chevrolet, Opel, and Vauxhall are now focusing on the development of new green power propulsion technologies, and their development markets have extended far beyond the company's birthplace. So the GM was founded on September 16, 1908. Since William Durant founded the GM in the US, it has combined or merged with Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, and other companies, and owns shares in Suzuki, Isuzu, and Subaru. Like the original small company its branch, it has been the world's largest automobile company since 1937. The economic recession and global credit crisis in 2008 put the GM, which was seriously short of liquidity, into crisis. It was not until 2010, a year and a half after filing for bankruptcy protest, that GM returned to Wall Street and completed the world's largest initial public offering. Now I would like to talk about the global presence. So the GM is one of the world's top 500 companies according to the Global 500 list released by Fortune magazine, and the GM has been at the forefront of the automotive revolution for more than 100 years. The GM is committed to making an impact in the communities where we live and work. The GM has global manufacturing operation in 22 time zones and 6 continents around the world. The GM directly contributes 39.2 in GDP to the US economy, nearly a quarter of the total GDP generated by the US automakers. Now let's move on to the topic of Mary Barra, the CEO of the GM. So the General Motors has had Mary Barra as CEO since 2014. In 2017, Fortune magazine ranked her among the top 10 female entrepreneurs in the world. She is not only the first female head of GM in its 110-year history, but also the first female head of the global auto industry leader. She started from the bottom in the company, serving as GM's assembly plant manager, the executive director of engineering for North America competitive operations, and director of internal communication. Before and after the financial turmoil led to GM's bankruptcy and reorganization, she served as the executive director of the GM's vehicle manufacturing engineering department, the vice president of the global manufacturing engineering company of Motors Liquidation Company, and the vice president of global human resources for the entire GM company. From 2011 to 2013, Mary served as Vice President of Global Product Development, responsible for the design, manufacturing, and quality control of various brands of vehicles put on the market by DGM. Mary Barra's leadership style, often referred as hierarchical leadership, reflects her belief in open communication, employee empowerment, and an unwavering commitment to integrity. It involves focusing on teamwork, respecting others, and creating a community where all voices are heard. Mary has always adhered to the product-centered workplace, whether it is the work accumulated before taking office as CEO or the product platform integration that is being completed change now. Mary has been simplifying the complex from beginning to the end and firmly grasping the enterprise's core competitiveness products, and at the same time carry out in-depth related reform strategy such as corporate culture, cost control, profit improvement, and corporate social responsibility.
Okay, thank you, Fang Yao, for the sharing of the background information. Now, before we go to the actual body part of the slides, we can discuss about what is an ethical dilemma. According to Walter in 2021, an ethical dilemma happens if somebody stands under several conflicting moral obligations, which one does not override the other, and there is no sufficient ethical reasons to choose one but the other. How does it apply to General Motors? Well, the very leader of General Motors, Mary Barra, used to say, "Our vision is a world with zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion." Sounds perfect, isn't it? How will General Motors create such a perfect world? She said, "With tens of millions of lines of code in any given vehicle system today, they are effectively computers on wheels." Mind the last word I just mentioned. Computers on wheel. This is the future looks like. In the future, we don't have to drive by ourselves. The cars, the vehicles will be automatic, controlled by computer. But if that happens one day, it will generate a lot of problems to go along with it. The first one is data. According to US law firm Helmut, in 2019, she said there could be eventually generate 100 GB of data per second in a driverless car. So in a day, it should be around like 40 T to 80 T. This is a huge amount of information. Those information includes iris, fingerprints of the drivers and passengers, and facial recognitions. Those destinations and routes from navigation system, and camera and sensor data. Such data, where does the data go? Does it go to the car company or does it go to the government? Will it be used in other purposes? Is that a intrude? If so, is that an intrude of our right of privacy? For general civilians, it shouldn't be a very big problem, but it could be crucial for example, police government, the military system, and the politics. Imagine in future your car knows you the best. It knows where you live, it knows where does you work, it knows where you go often, and who do you go often to go outside with. How to protect such data and protect our privacy will be a huge challenge in the future generations. And let's take at the other problem here. I wrote down decision versus reaction. So let's suppose an autonomous car is faced with a terrible decision to crash into one of two objects, an SUV or a motorcycle. If you are programming the car to minimize the harm to others, which is a sensible goal, isn't it? Which way would you instruct it to do in this scenario? Let's say we're gonna program it to hit the SUV, which is clearly SUV is more strong and it can endure more confliction. Or we can choose to hit the motorcycle. It will protect the driver's safety, but the motorcycle will be likely in danger. It's not a problem for human driver because when human facing this scenario, they give a reaction. We don't blame others by their reaction. But it's gonna be a problem in automatic cars because automatic car is pre-programmed. So this decision is made months, even years ago before the accident actually happens. Therefore, the car company should be responsible for such scenarios. We can even go further with this situation here. Imagine again that a self-driving car is facing a looming crash. It can steer towards, again, two targets. A motorcyclist wearing a helmet or a motorcyclist not wearing a helmet. In that case, what is the right way to do to program the car? Are we gonna hit the motorcyclist with the helmet? In that case, it did protect general safety, but are we punishing the motorcyclist wearing the helmet by even if he is strictly obeying the strict rule? Or are we hitting the motorcyclist without the helmet? In that case, this motorcyclist will be in great danger, which do not obey our goal to minimize the harm. Now, before we go too far, we can put our vision back to the leadership style and skills, which goes to Mary Barra herself. So Mary Barra applies a transformational leadership style, which fosters a culture of accountability, ownership, and autonomy, motivating employees to embrace change. A lot of decisions she made, are transformational, which will be covered by my colleagues. And another point I should mention that is Mary Barra herself. Her father used to work in General Motors as a very basic worker, and so is she. So in her case, she works from the bottom all the way to the top, which is very impressive, isn't it? This is the content I will cover about, and next I will invite my colleague to finish the rest of the presentation.
Next, I will discuss how General Motors leader Barra decisions making and communication ways affect the handling of ethical dilemmas. First, the autopilot is an advanced driver assistance system, but it has always faced ethical dilemmas and controversies. General Motors does not produce auto driver system. However, a similar example is Tesla auto driver system. Relatives of Matali, age 67 at the time of his fatal conflict, with a tree in 2019 while driving his Model 3, continued that the company responsibility is due to its increased awareness of selling a faulty product. From an ethical perspective, automakers such as Tesla face the challenge of balancing innovations and progress with consumer safety and well-being. This includes ensure clear communications about the functions and limitations of the auto drive system, as well as radical testing and confirmations to reduce risks. In addition, the managing agencies and policymakers play a role in formulating guidelines and regulations to manage the development of autonomous driving technology, address ethical problems, the maintain public safety. As the leader of General Motors, Barra first considers safety issues, ensures that General Motors autonomous driving technology undergoes strict testing and validation before development. This may contain extensive real-world testing, simulations, and cooperations with regulatory agencies, and security experts to identify and address possibility risk. In addition, Barra will highlight the personal responsibility of drivers who use General Motors autonomous driving technology. This includes clear defining the road and driving in motoring systems and intervening when necessary, as well as holding drivers accountable for any abuse or riskless behavior. The second model series is about the system safety issues of General Motors. Hackers can obtain consumers' information through network attacks. General Motors detects malicious login activity from April 11 to 29, 2022, and was attacked by hackers, resulting in the leakage of consumer information, including car history, service history, intended contacts, Wi-Fi hotspot settings, and passwords, and use consumer point to exchange gift card. From a moral viewpoint, due to improper legal constants on information leakage, the security of the system has become one of the concerns for consumers. In addition, the General Motors brand has enhanced prevention measures to ensure the safe use of system by consumers, but what cannot be determined is the attack method and channels of hacker. Such as problems cannot be solved from the roots. Mary Barra's leadership approach in this case highlights transparency, accounting, and consumer centricity by prominent notifying affect consumers of the data breach and providing detailed information about the incident. GM's demonstrates transparency and committed to keeping its consumers informed. Additionally, Barra's stress on accountability is obvious in GM's proactive steps to address the bug, including resting password and restoring rewards for affect consumers. Furthermore, GM's focus on consumer service and support regulations with Barra's leaders' sales, as the company takes responsibility for safeguarding consumer data and ensuring their security. Overall, Barra's leadership approach focus on trust and confidence among consumers while guiding the company responses to challenging situations like data breaches.
Thanks for Jessica's sharing. So hi everyone, my name is Yuhan Zhou. I'm going to discuss the effectiveness of the transformational leadership style in resolving the dilemma. So first of all the discussion will focus on an example in which General Motors finds itself in hot water for its management of a faulty ignition switch found in certain cars it produced. A flaw implicated in at least 13 deaths in 2014. It relates to the safety dilemmas we have mentioned before. So, Barra's leadership style is hands-on and grounded in a deep understanding of the company's operation. It embodies 4 key features. First of all, she empowers employees by fostering an open dialogue and feedback systems within General Motors, fostering a culture of continuous improvements. Secondly, sustainability is the cornerstone of her leadership, exemplified by General Motors to go fully electric in 2035. Thirdly, integrity and accountability are paramount to Barra, expecting the same from everyone in the organization. Lastly, Barra's response to crisis sets her apart. So we just take the 2014 crisis as an example. She has openly acknowledged the problem, took responsibility, and also she committed to resolving it instead of escaping blame. So her approach underscores integrity and results-driven mindset, emphasizing a willingness to learn from challenges. Mary Barra's transformative leadership has left an indelible mark on General Motors, touching upon various phases of the organization. One of the most notable areas of impact is evidence on corporate culture, innovation, and strategic direction. For instance, under her guidance, General Motors has actively transitioned towards embracing electric vehicles and autonomous technology. This strategic pivot ensures General Motors' competitiveness in an industry landscape that is constantly evolving. Barrett's influence extends to the restructuring of General Motors' corporate culture. She has championed principles of open communication and accountability, fostering a workforce environment based on collaboration and productivity. And also, as a result, employees feel empowered to contribute their ideas and work towards common goal. Moreover, Barrett's leadership style, characterized by transparency and decisiveness, and which is play a pivotal role in strengthening the stakeholder relations. By openly acknowledging and addressing past challenges, Barrett's has rebuilt trust among investors, customers, and the wider community. Furthermore, Barrett's strategic vision has driven General Motors towards embracing innovative shifts and cultural transformation. For example, General Motors' introduction of the Chevy Bolt electric vehicle reflects its commitment to sustainability and innovation in the automotive industry. These initiatives have not only enhanced General Motors' financial performance, but also positioned the company as the leader in the market. So in summary, Mary Barrett's great leadership shows how dedicated she is to helping General Motors grow and succeed, even in a changing market. Her ability to navigate challenges, drive innovation, and also cultivate a positive corporate culture underscores her effectiveness as a leader and her dedication to steering General Motors towards a prosperous culture. So next, I will pass to Scott to conclude and provide suggestions. Thank you so much.
Okay, for the last part, I'll do the conclusion. We found that the ethical dilemma facing General Motors is the issue of the data privacy and the safety of the automatic driving. Although this kind of problem cannot be completely solved, it can be avoided as much as possible through the right leadership direction. Mary used her transformation leadership to address the ethical dilemmas through an innovation authorization, impact on ethics, and team empowerment, and commitment to sustainability. Her leadership style has had a positive impact on the organization, include the strengthening cooperation culture, improving stakeholder relations, and financial health. Okay, for the suggestion part, for improving leadership and management standards in addressing ethical dilemma in automatic vehicles involving several approaches. So, such as like ethical guidelines, I would recommend to establish clear ethical guidelines for decision makers, making alleged myths and considering factors like prioritizing safety, minimize harm, and promoting public trust. For the next part, for the engagement, involving stakeholders, including the public, policymaker, and emphasizes in decisions about the ethical considerations and decision making in automatic vehicles rejectedly, and for the compliance adhering to exist regulations and working with the policymaker to develop new regulations that address ethical considerations in automatic vehicle technology. Continuing evaluation, implementing systems for continuous evaluation and improvement for ethical decision making authorities based on real world feedback and ethic analysis. For the collaborating with the another industry players, academic and relevant organization to share best practices and address ethical challenges considerably. And for the training and education, proving training and education for employees involved in the development of the automatic vehicles to ensure the understanding the ethical implications of the work. By all of that, adopting those approach, manufacturers can demonstrate leaderships in addressing ethical dilemma and contribution to the responsible and ethical advancement to the automatic vehicle technology. Yes, that's it, and thank you for listening.
And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you all for watching. For the following pages, I will show you our list of reference.